Hey everyone, it's Webpaint, and today I want to talk about this game that just got announced called The Blood of Dawnwalker. I'd been watching their Twitter account since like early December when they teased this like live stream that they were gonna do, and I was really interested in this game primarily because the developers, Rebel Wolves, have a chunk of old like Witcher team members a part of their team, which to me is really exciting, and it's also actually being led by the Witcher 3 director. So it's in some good hands. This isn't just like regular mystery devs that are kind of approaching this game. There's some seasoned RPG veterans, which is really exciting. It's also being developed on Unreal Engine 5, so it's going to look absolutely beautiful. And they started development about 2 years ago, so if we get lucky with this game, we could get it like mid 2026, but that's a big maybe, right? Let's go ahead and get into what this game is and talk about the trailer a little bit. So this game is going to be a third-person single-player fantasy RPG that is being labeled as a narrative sandbox. So to me, that's pretty interesting. I can't tell if I've heard the term narrative sandbox before or not. It seems new to me, but I'm not really sure what that exactly means or entails. I think this narrative sandbox thing is really going to come into play with this mechanic where you only have 30 days and 30 nights to play the whole game, which I'm assuming. I'm not a fan of this whole concept, honestly, but Majora's Mask did a great job with this like timed mechanic. So I don't want to write it off completely, but it's not something that I'm really interested in. And it has me a little bit weary as well. Also, they say that time can be managed and they keep referring to it as a resource, so I don't know what that actually means. To my knowledge, doing quests will use up your time resource per se, but I'm not sure what other things. In this game, you play as Cohen, who was born into a peasant family with four siblings. I think your family is supposed to be a pretty big, important part of the narrative, which is what we kind of see in the trailer as well. They just kind of keep referring to his family and kind of how he has to save them over and over again. But Cohen's life has changed drastically as he's been turned into a Dawnwalker, which is this mix of like human and vampire. It's not quite one or the other. You'll have to fight for humanity or embrace these cursed powers that you've been given. This leads me to believe that with these cursed powers, we can get like multiple endings, kind of like Baldur's Gate with the illithid powers. Those are like the only things that I can kind of think of at the moment. But it could be really interesting. Like maybe if you use the powers more or not, you could have like a darker ending compared to like a lighter ending if you don't use the powers at all. The game also takes place in 14th century Europe, which is a fantastic setting. I'm a really big fan of this setting. A lot of games that I really like are a part of this. Bloody conflict is sweeping the land as well, with the plague, which is also running rampant at the moment and destroying like the entire human population, which is where the vampires kind of come in here, and they're using all this carnage to come out of the shadows and be free and kind of finally take reign over what they feel like is theirs. Now, speaking of these vampires, ones that we saw in the trailer seem very different. We have the main one here in the trailer, which is like an older, wise one who has a lot of these like powers. You kind of see him like take this guy's leg right off, which is really badass to me. We also have this like huge melee tank looking guy who's just literally beating them all to death. He's doing just like 1,000 punches, which looks absolutely hilarious. The other one's kind of like a quicker vampire that uses his sword a lot. I really like this guy's armor. I'm not really sure what his whole like deal is. I couldn't really figure it out from the video. And the last one we see in this trailer is kind of this like blood mage lady who literally blows out this dude on the horse, like from the inside. I wonder if like blood mancy and like blood magic is going to be a big part of some of like the ranged abilities in this game. These vampires are a little different from what I'm used to though, because their teeth never stop growing in this world, which is kind of really cool, right? Because the oldest vampires have the longest teeth, and it's kind of a cool way to determine whether or not you're like going up against it, maybe like a really strong vampire, like an old vampire, or just how long they've kind of been in this world. I think that's like a really cool little detail. We also see in the trailer that these teeth retract, because initially I was really worried that they were gonna like stay out almost like a saber tooth, and that would have just been like really goofy and kind of silly. Our main antagonist here in the story is gonna be Brensis. This is gonna be like a really old, powerful vampire. I don't think he's in the trailer. It could be our main, bald guy here, but I'm not too sure. But this Brensis is a very old and powerful vampire that wants to take over the world and bring his own order to it. The devs also said that Brensis will react to your choices and actions throughout the story. This is really cool. I'm excited to see how they, do that and integrate it into the game. I'm not sure how they're going to do it necessarily, but it's just nice to like, that they're, thinking about stuff like that, right? We will also be fighting both humans and vampires, so we don't just have like one enemy, right? Since we are a little bit of a mix between vampires and human, I'm very interested to see how that kind of plays into fighting certain enemies. Like, are we going to be able to sneak into a vampire camp because we had that little bit of like vampiricism within us? Or how is it going to work at all, Also, a lot of these vampires are not just like morally black or white. A lot of them can apparently have some nuance, maybe even lean a little bit of good instead of just wanting pure carnage. This is really nice because I love when characters kind of have like complexity to them, and it gets a little bit boring when it's just like, oh, you're a vampire, so you're evil. You know what I mean? That's not necessarily fun. That's kind of most of what the game is about, but I do want to talk about a few other things that were revealed as well during the dev stream, and just from like their website as well. The Blood of Dawnwalker is being stated as the first chapter, so I wonder if they're planning to do more, right? Whether that be like sequels or a trilogy, or Honestly, I have no idea what they're gonna do. But these guys seem really confident in their work, which is really exciting, and I like to see that as well. They said that due to this whole like narrative sandbox thing, which I really still don't understand, that no two playthroughs will be the same, which we do hear a lot from like pretty much every RPG dev nowadays, which I like. I love the fact that that's like what I want to hear. I want all my playthroughs to be unique. But still, I just feel like it's kind of something that's being like a buzzword at this point almost. So one of the major things that the developers are working on for the Blood of Dawnwalker is the day and night cycle. This is aiming to be drastically different from each other. Some things we know so far is that you'll be fighting harder enemies at night, and I'm assuming this is mainly going to be our monsters, vampires, etc. They also said that during the day you're going to be locked out of your vampiric powers, and you can only use them at night. So it's gonna be like sword play at daytime, and then like at night you get to use your vampire powers. I'm really not sure like how this is gonna work. Are we being locked out of our powers during the day like entirely? Is there like a lore reason for this? Like, are we hiding them from like the humans, or is maybe like the sun kind of hindering our powers? They also teased a gameplay reveal for the summer, which is really exciting. I really want to know more about this game, and I hope that we get some more clarifications on some things because I am dying to learn more. No, no. My bad, guys. So we're also getting this blood hunger mechanic, and this one sounds really cool because essentially if you don't feed on someone, like within like the time limit, I guess, you'll randomly just start taking people out. Like you'll just start straight up eating them. And they said that even if it's like someone you have a high relationship level with, like maybe be your best friend or your companion, whatever, it does not matter. Cohen needs to eat, which I think is just really, really cool. This is either going to be like a really cool mechanic or just like super annoying and just kind of get in the way a lot of the times. I am interested though, because I've never really heard of anything like this. Let me know if any like games have something similar to this, where you just like straight up just eat someone because you haven't fed in a while. Also, the early bit of alpha and engine footage that we've seen looks very, very good and kind of promising. So definitely like keep an eye on this game, guys. I'm really excited for this. It looks very, very good so far from the tiny, tiny little bit of what we've seen. Also, side note, the concept art is really, really cool. If you guys are like into concept art like that, check out the official website. I'll probably link it down below. Some of the stuff is super sick and really badass. That's gonna be it for the video, guys. Let me know in the comments below if you're excited for the Blood of Dawnwalker, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe.